Hey guys, David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producers. And in today's video, we're continuing our 5-part series on building a successful insurance agency, no matter what it is that you're selling. So part 4 here is about lead systems. So I wanted to make sure I cover leads and that whole discussion in a separate video, just because I believe it's warranted and it's really, really important that you have the lead program established as to whatever it is that you're going to do. You cannot be in the insurance business if you don't have people to see. And it's important to understand that if you're recruiting new agents or experienced agents, is that at the end of the day, what they need is a consistent flow of people to talk to about whatever product it is that they're representing through you. So you have to have a well-defined lead program, whether that's a purchase lead program or a free lead program, and be able to explain to the agent who this product is, this approach is good for as far as the agent recruit potential is, and who it wouldn't necessarily fit for. I'm of the persuasion you've got to be full frontal about it. You got to be completely transparent as to how the system works and not hide it. A lot of agencies and organizations I've seen and talked to, they don't fully disclose how the leads work, what the pros are, what the potential drawbacks are. We want to be fully transparent simply because we don't want to waste time recruiting an agent under false pretenses who ends up just getting burned out and believing that the insurance company or business itself is a racket. So let's talk about a few things here. So let's get into more about the free to agent versus the agent paid program. So this approach is interesting. So you don't have to pay for your agent's leads. You could, but you can also get the agent to pay for their own as well. So the free to the agent approach would categorize cold calling, telemarketing, where they're responsible for working whatever leads you find them, and then they go out and sell the deals, versus you give them the training, the mentorship, and the coaching, but they're responsible for basically buying the leads and putting it all into action. There's successful businesses that do both. There's a company that's on YouTube called North Star that, generally speaking, is a call center environment, and their agents don't have to pay anything, but they'll tell you their commissions relative to an independent agent like myself are much lower. And so they're in a position where their agents have to do a ton of volume to make up for the lower commission that I would otherwise not necessarily have to do as much volume for. But in exchange, they get training, they get a script, they get consultation, they get mentorship, they get every element of working in a corporate environment, and they get the leads for free too. So it can work, but there's the drawback to that is there's a lot of money invested in what potentially could be a non-producing agent. You could be in a position where you recruit a bunch of people, put leads in their hands, and think, oh, they've got leads, they're going to perform. Well, what you find out is that a lot of people just don't perform, whether it's you or the business or just themselves, whatever the excuse is. Most people aren't successful. It's just the law of the Pareto principle in sales. 20% of the producers produce 80% of the production. Now, with that said, my bias is towards the agent paid approach, and let me explain to you why. I want my agents, or at least in my agency, I have my agents pay the price fully for their leads. I think there's several benefits to this. First of all, I believe, I don't know why it's the case, but if you subsidize a person, and I think it's probably just human behavior, but if you subsidize a person to not have to be on the hook for any sort of bad things happening, such as a week of no sales, if there is no loss to the agent other than his time, it's unlikely that they're going to be as concerned about making results as a person who actually has money at risk of being lost if he doesn't make those sales. So when there is risk on behalf of the participant who wants to be involved in this business, I think what you find is that you get better performance from the agent. Now, the question becomes, well, how much risk is it? Do they pay the full amount of the leads? Do they pay half or a portion? For me, in my business, it's the whole thing. I don't subsidize an agent, period, for his leads. I'll teach them how to do free lead generation methods, but it's their responsibility for the most part to buy their own leads, because that's what we mostly do in my organization. But I find that the agents that do that tend to do better overall than the ones who give them something for free. They don't necessarily appreciate it as much. Again, this is all human psychology and behavior. Recruiters can verify this. But if there's no skin in the game, if there's nothing to lose, well, there's nothing to lose, right? If you have a bad week, you can walk away from it. But the consequences to you is that now you carry that entire risk. And if the guy doesn't produce leads or doesn't produce business, you've just lost, quote unquote, $600. Now, there's some things you can do in your agency to clear that expense. You can rework the leads. You can resell the leads. You can do things with other agents in your organization to help clear through that, basically that investment that's fixed inside of those leads, that someone who can produce will make something out of it. But the important takeaway here is that the more you have the agent involved, this has been my experience, the better the results you'll see. Again, everybody loves the idea of getting leads, but what you'll find is this is as you know, a difficult profession for a lot of people, and a lot of people just can't do it with free leads or paid leads. But you want to, I think the safest way is to allow them to shoulder the burden of the leads so that they can come up with their own capabilities and inner strength to make sales. And if in exchange you got to take a lesser override so that they can pay for their leads, then so be it. It's less risk direct off the table for you and more upside, I believe, without the inherent risk of losing the leads. I hope you enjoyed this video about how to recruit agents and using a lead program to successfully get them going. If you like what you if you saw here, make sure you check out the rest of the videos in the video series. Just as a note, at the present time, I'm considering rolling out an agency development program, either with agents that want to develop an agency and work with me, or as a standalone product. I'm not at the point where I've fully committed to releasing this, but there's something in the works. So if you're interested in this, please message me at davidduford.com/contact, and I'll be happy to tell you more kind of where things stand and if it's something that would be a benefit to you. My name is David Duford at davidduford.com. Thanks for watching. See ya.